How's it going, everybody? It's the Crypto Oracle here, and this video is going to be a little something different since normally I focus on, altcoin picks, stuff like that, undervalued coins, more of, looking for coins that are just gonna explode, breakout coins, stuff like that. But today I'm actually going to be talking about Bitcoin. I know everybody else has their opinions on Bitcoin. There's thousands of crypto YouTubers that can give their perspective on what they think Bitcoin is going to do. We've seen a pretty wild ride over the past few weeks, or even the past few months. So this is what I have to say about the Bitcoin price. I'm not going to be too adamant about any predictions, because I do have a pretty conservative point of view about if you're straight up investing in Bitcoin and you're not investing in alts. Because I'm sure you want to know what I think about the Bitcoin price after you saw your Blockfolio go down 20%, 30%, and then back up another 10%, 20% today, which was it's just another wild ride in crypto. It's just a roller coaster. Personally, I'm just holding through all of it. I'm not too big on following the market to the point or too exactly. I just like to hold through things. It's worked before for me in the past. When Bitcoin was $700 and it went to 1,000 and it dropped back down, I held through that. Not the first one in, what was it, 2011, 2012. That's whenever I did sell. Whenever it hit about 1,000, I sold then. But at least in the past 4 or 5 years, I really haven't been selling. Unless it's like a short-term hold. But all my long-term holds, I know that what you're supposed to do is try to find the peak, sell it, wait for the dip, buy more for accumulation. And yeah, that's a great strategy, but I just don't have the time to be watching the markets all day, because still have work, still have plenty of other things that I'm working on, multiple projects. So I just can't be 24/7 trading anymore. That's why, if you're in the private Slack, I've been posting charts more, because charts are a lot more useful because people in kind of any time zone can watch them. So if I post a chart, it'll be useful for the next maybe 12 to 24 hours rather than just me posting a trade. It'll be useful for the next hour or so. So I'm going to get straight into it. And I think to really understand where the price is going, we're going to have to look at this from a macro point of view. And I say macro, prospectively. So if you go out, what was I looking at? I was looking at 1 month. I know you're thinking, that looks ridiculous, okay, because that's Bitcoin. That's what happens. Now, this is the entire history of Bitcoin. As you can see in this tiny little graph, this is the entire history of Bitcoin since TradingView started keeping track of the prices. So there's a few things you should look at, and I will try to keep it without being blocked. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of this little message, and so we can look at all these indicators. All right, so obviously we saw it sitting through 2016, and then it really started breaking out right kind of at the end of 2015 is whenever we saw it break out from like the $200 area up to the 500, and then it broke up to like the 800, and then it was like 1,000, 1,200 for a while, and it's been going up ever since. So is Bitcoin due for a correction? Well, yeah, that's what it's doing right now, is it's correcting. It's not crashing. When would it be a crash? If we saw Bitcoin, I'd say go lower than 50%. So if we saw Bitcoin, I even more conservatively, I'd say if it goes lower than 2,000, then it's a proper crash. If it went to 1,000, that's obviously a crash. But a correction, what did it bottom out at? It bottomed out right around 3,000, like 2,900. That's just a correction, okay? When you see it, we saw this coin explode to $5,000 within 2 months from, a more reasonable price. So obviously it has to correct because all coins, all assets, all equities work in cycles. There can't be consistent growth except for, in certain stock market companies, but they're more microcycles. So now what do the indicators say? Obviously we're high on the RSI, we're high on the stochastics, we're high on the MACD. Okay, but as you can see, Bitcoin has always been high on the RSI. Okay, we saw it grow ridiculously and it was high on the RSI the entire time. It was overbought. Okay, so maybe the what is this? It's a 3070. I should really switch that to a 2080. But yeah, as you can see, like we're normalizing on the RSI. We're bouncing back, almost like we're within the 80. So I'd say that's fine. So I'd say as soon as the RSI starts turning back up, I'm not going to give an exact point on the RSI when it should turn back up, but I'm saying that what it's doing is we're seeing some healthy normalization of the price. All right, and that's what we really want if we want Bitcoin to continue to be able to grow long term. Now I know like mass adoption, big investors getting in, that's gonna manipulate the price. That's not gonna be like a normal healthy market where people gradually get into it because Bitcoin has such a low volume compared to major companies in the stock market. So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in to 1 day. And as you can see on the 1 day, we're very oversold, but we are bouncing back a little bit, and that's where you see this green candlestick. So yeah, you can see that we have been for the past at least a week almost 2 weeks actually. Yeah, almost 2 weeks we have been oversold on the stochastics and on the RSI. RSI is a little more conservative. Stochastics a little more, specific, just within the parameters that I have set. So to me, this looks perfectly healthy. This looks like a perfectly healthy graph at this point. If it kept going, now that's when I would say, oh, now we're going to see something big. And what have we seen? We've seen something big, okay? It went from $5,000 to $3,000. I'm not worried by that, okay? That happens all the time, especially in the altcoin market. And if anything, all it does is allow for growth in the future, okay? So let's go even a little further in. And honestly, the fact that it's so low on the 1 day RSI, I mean, I'd like for it to stay lower, or I'd like for it to go lower and stay low for a while, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think people are going to see that this price correction as an advantage. They're going to see it as an opportunity to get in. So yeah, and then today we saw the price shoot back up to like the $3,800 range at its peak, and that's why we're seeing the stochastics so high, because it truly did bounce off of that support line right at 3,000 that was created kind of a little bit by these peaks back here. All of this because it spent 2 weeks at this point and even longer, like months, between 2,200 and 2,700. So that's why I don't think it's a crash, because if we broke down below 2,000 or even 2,100, 2,200, that's when it's dangerous territory. That's when we can see a full-on market crash, because all the big holders would be exiting their positions rapidly. All right, it'd be like people evacuating. Okay, they would be evacuating Bitcoin like there's a hurricane coming in. All right, so our next support line is between 2,400 and 2,900, but I'd say it's mostly between 2,600 and 2,800. I can even throw a ray on there just to keep track for this video. So that's what I'd personally consider selling out my position if we broke that support line pretty rapidly. But overall we've been doing fine. It's just bounced off of 3,000, which is, it's a round number, so there's always a little bit more support around, like 3,000, 3,100, 3,200, 3,300, but especially like 3,000, 4,500 or 5,000. Just it's a psychological thing, but that isn't as accurate, and it's not as consistent as the actual support lines that we see from where at what prices the coin has stagnated and had horizontal movement, which we saw here, and we saw here, which I just explained. So yeah, that's pretty much what I see. What I see in terms of if you should buy or if you should sell. All I can do is give you the ranges, and the ranges, in my opinion, are if it breaks below this support line, this 3,700 support line, that's when I would start to worry. But I really don't think that's going to happen at this time, just after seeing this bounce. Now, could it happen? Yes. That's just, I'm just hoping it's not going to happen at this point. You can only really hope. You can do as much TA as you want, but the market is still controlled by the people. So the TA can only say so much about what's going to happen. Now, when would I re-enter? If you're on fiat right now, or if you're in Tether, or if you're in some whatever alt that for some reason goes against the direction of Bitcoin, when would I buy back in? Probably, if you're going to be conservative, I'd say somewhere around 4,000, because of that. Then, I mean, if we can break through all of this support area where we spent a month, if we can break through this 4,000, or it starts at like 3,900. It starts at 3,900, peaks around 4,400, I'd say. If we can break through that area of resistance, then we're good. We're good. I could see that us blasting up to the $6,000 area at least. Probably even a repeat of history when Bitcoin was rising before, whenever it went from 2,000 to 5,000 in pretty much a series of 3 runs. I think we could see that happen where we go from 4,000 to 7,000, maybe even 8,000. That's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin, is no matter how much it crashes or how much it corrects, that we still have Bitcoin's future, and it looks so great. It's a limited supply coin. You've all seen the infographics and stuff like that, where Bitcoin's going to be 10,000, 100,000 compared to these other equities, these other markets, and it's a little dramatic, but it's true. It is true that Bitcoin in the altcoin market overall is pretty undervalued, but it's growing ever so quickly. So that is my current stance on the Bitcoin price. So yeah, I don't want to say buy now. I don't want to say sell now. You got to make your own decisions based on what type of holder you are. Obviously, I'm a long-term holder, so I'm holding through absolutely everything, and I'm not regretting it. I'm not mad that, whenever I had it at 5,000, I saw that my total portfolio value was this, and now my total portfolio value is 3/5 of that. I'm not mad about that, because I as long as I'm holding this long term, then I mean, it's gonna be pennies on the dollar in the future. Pennies on the dollar. It's a little dramatic, but you get the point. That's all I have to say about the Bitcoin price. If you're holding it short term, I can do some TA on that. If you're in the Slack, just send me a message. Sorry, I know this video is supposed to be for everybody, but it's kind of easier to get messages out to large groups of people via video rather than typing up long messages. So thank you again for watching. Remember to subscribe and like the video. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you go to @OracleOfCrypto on Twitter. If you'd like to join the free discussion Slack, just send me a DM on Twitter with your email address. Make sure you include your email address. Otherwise, I'm going to have to message you and ask for your email, and then you're going to have to send it to me, and then it's going to take longer for you to get in. Finally, if you'd like to join the paid private Inner Circle Slack, where I post charts There's constant discussion with like 300 members that are all into crypto. You get your news instantly because everybody's always willing to share news with the group as soon as it comes out. You get coin lists of my long-term holds, and it's really just a great community to be a part of, because in crypto it seems like, or not even in crypto, but when in the investing market it seems like everybody's out for themselves. But when you're part of a community that's trying to literally just get everybody in the community or in the group rich, it's just such a great environment to be in, because it's like nobody's trying to like fuck anybody over. And that's the great part about it. So again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out all my other videos, all my other stuff. This has been my kind of, I guess, a Bitcoin update on what I think of the price and looking at things from a more macro point of view. And that's what I like to do. I like to do even more than, you know, the short-term, mid-term TA, just because, like, yeah, it's great and all, and it helps you get good prices for things, and it helps you make some short-term profits, but I'd rather just look things at a macro point of view. That's what I love. So thank you guys again for watching. This has been the Crypto Oracle.